just get the camera out and just start shooting. So there's no microphone. I'm in a different place, but I thought I'd just do a quick ramble through the Mizzix EDH deck I've put together. Obviously it came in a pre-con, but taking out the lands. We got Evolving Wilds, Reliquary Tower, Terramorphic Expanse. So Reliquary Tower, you have no maximum hand size. That's actually quite useful for a deck like Mizzix, where there are often times where I'm going to pull a lot of cards into my hand at once. Might want to hold on to them. I'll be honest, I've taken out a lot of the cards that might go well with Reliquary Tower. I'm not sure if I'd keep a hold of it, but it seems reasonable to leave it in. Is it Boiler Works? Enters the battlefield. Tapped. Enters the battlefield. Return a land you control to the owner's hands. These are called, I think, called Garu lands, and they're just really good. Red, blue, exactly what we need. Vivid Creek enters the battlefield tapped with 2 charge counters on it. Add a blue, remove a charge counter, so you can do that twice. From Vivid Creek, add 1 mana of any colour, red, to your mana pool. Spy Bluff Canal, this is one I've added in from Kaladesh. When it enters the battlefield, tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. And then you can add blue or red. Command Tower, this is just I think you put this in any EDH deck. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any colour in your commander's colour identity. Perfect. Wandering Fumarole enters the battlefield tapped. Add blue or red to your mana pool. 2 blue, red until end of turn. It becomes a 1/4 blue and red elemental creature with 0. Switch this creature's power and toughness until end of turn. I put that in there because it matches the colour identity, but I'm not sure. Spine Rock Knoll. This one came with the deck Hideaway. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, look at the top 4 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom of your library. Red tap, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if an opponent was dealt 7 or more damage this turn. Spoiler, that's going to happen. Swift Water Cliffs, tapped gain life. Vivid Crag, just like the Vivid Creek I think we saw earlier, but the other way round. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26 basic lands. That's the land base. I do have a Scalding Tarn off to the side here that I got from the Modern Masters 2017. I guess I'll probably add it in there, though I have got my eyes on including this in a modern deck. I'd have to buy 3 more. That's going to be the best part of £100, and until I take the plunge on doing that, I think I'll just keep that with Mizzix here. I've got a couple of other bits and pieces I might show you. Okay, so as I said, this is obviously a Mizzix deck pre-con that I bought maybe a year or so ago. I don't really get a lot of chance to play Commander, so a lot of this is more theory of things I think might work than things I have tested out. So I'm just going to run you through some cards. There's quite a few here, but maybe we'll see something we like. Mizzix, obviously Commander, 2 blue and a red. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost greater than the number of experience counters you have, you get an experience counter. Instant and sorcery spells you cast that cost 1 less to cast for each experience counter you have. Basically meaning early game you're going to play some of the cheaper spells that we've got in here. Faithless Looting, get a counter. Next turn, your repeal costs 1 less. Later game you can be playing some very powerful spells. Clone Legion, if you have 7 experience counters with Mizzix. Clone Legion, that's 2 mana. So, I saw a pretty cool version of Mizzix the other day that with a lot of flashback, which I know in Eternal Masters draft, I loved playing the Burning Vengeance deck. I'd always force it. I love flashback. I love Burning Vengeance. You won't see any of those cards in here because I haven't done that route with this build of Mizzix. But anyway, okay. So that's Mizzix herself. Well, Windfall. Each player discards his or her hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. There was a fair amount of these sort of wheel effects, I think they're called, where everyone discards their hand and gets a new batch of them. I've left this one in, not a huge fan of them, but I can see why they're powerful, I can see why they're useful, and I've got no problem running a couple of them. So there's a sorcery. Treasure Cruise. So, a common from Cards of Darkir. You may well know this card as being banned in Modern. It came out. It's pretty easy to fuel your graveyard in Modern. 7 and a blue. You can exile up to 7 cards from your graveyard. They'll pay for 1. So, this could just be an Ancestral Recall. 3 mana. Sorry, 1 mana, draw 3 cards, obviously at sorcery speed, but that is insanely powerful, and it was insanely broken, and yeah, I started playing around Dragons of Darkir, Fate Reforged time, so the only time I ever really get to resolve this card is in Commander or a Cards of Darkir draft, if they ever go off. Yeah, great card. Rite of Replication, this came with a deck, and it's really, really, really good. 2 and 2 blue. Put a token onto the battlefield that is a copy of target creature. If Rite of Replication was kicked, put 5 of those tokens onto the battlefield. So now, this is... So, Mizzix and her experience counter shenanigans, that can help to pay for additional costs like kicker or buyback or anything like that. So, if you've got, say, 5 counters on her. This kicker is essentially free, and you'll pay 2 and 2 blue and get 5 copies of target creature. I don't think I need to explain how amazing that is going to be. Clone Legion, for each creature target player controls, put a token onto the battlefield that is a copy of that creature. This is just a mythic from Dragons of Darkir that I had laying around, and it seems very powerful. And I would love to cast that card for, a lot less than 9 mana, so I've never resolved it yet, playing Commander with Mizzix, but I'm looking forward to it. Mystic Retrieval, this is again another card that was included in the pre-con. Return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Seems pretty good, and it's got flashback, so if I do go the Burning Vengeance flashback Mizzix route, this card will definitely make the cut. Flashback is a great mechanic, and returning a big Clone Legion style effect, play that, maybe for only a few mana, Mystic Retrieval, and I've got it ready to go again. And yeah, that is going to be insane. Faithless Looting. It's just again, it's got flashback, and it's draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, helps you dig and find what you need, and you can flashback it as well for 3 mana later. Epic Experiment. This is one of the big, I think it was a new card just for the deck. I do think they make cards that are only for Commander, if that makes sense. Yeah, no, like Mizzix Mastery, so that's a brand new card. I think I might be wrong. Actually, maybe Epic Experiment was from Return to Ravnica or something. Exile the top X cards of your library. Again, Mizzix can help bring down this, so if you have, say, 5 open mana, 4 counters on Mizzix, total of 9, so 7 in the X. Exile the top X cards of your library. For each instant and sorcery card with converted mana cost X or less among them, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then put all cards exiled this way that weren't cast into your graveyard. That is insane. I mean, imagine getting that off for X is 5. Reveal 5 cards. Any instants and sorceries. There's a lot of them. You get to resolve all of them. So toss that down. Maybe we get Mizzix's Mastery, Meteor Blast, and that would be terrible actually because you don't pay the X on that. But I think you get what I'm saying. Mizzix's Mastery. Exile target card. That's an instant or sorcery from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, copy it, and you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Exile Mizzix's Mastery. Why is that worded so weirdly? It's because of overload. So if you pay 5, again reduced by Mizzix, and 3 red, you may cast this spell for its overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing all instances of target with each. Basically meaning, if you can overload this, any instant or sorcery in your graveyard, you can copy all of them. Wow, I'm just rereading that now, and that is insane. 8 mana, copy every instant and sorcery you either dumped in your graveyard or cast this game. That's wild. Preordain. Squire 2 draw a card. Yes, please. Meteor Blast deals 4 damage to each of X target creatures and or players. So again, you pay your 3. Gotta pay the 3 red. X can be whatever you like, and Mizzix helps pay for it. That's often going to wipe a good portion of the board. Reveal X and a blue target non-land permanent with converted mana cost X. Return it to its owner's hand, draw a card. Great card, great card. And very, very strong, and often it's going to be one blue. And you get to draw a card anyway, return it back. Confirm suspicions, if this is a foil. Confirm suspicions from Shadows over Innistrad. 3 and 2 blue, or 2 blue. Counter target spell, investigate 3 times. This is clearly a good card in this sort of deck. Is it mainly in it because it's a foil? Yes. Is Urza's Rage. What does this one do? 2 and a red. Urza's Rage can't be countered by spells or abilities. Deal 3 to target creature or player. If it was kicked, 8 and a red. Again, reduce that down. 10 damage to target creature or player. That damage can't be prevented. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Oh, Mystic Confluence. If you're in the EDH game at all, I'm pretty sure you'll know about this card. If you cast that for 5 mana, you're still happy. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3, so it's a mana leak. And oftentimes you're going to cast that when they're never going to be able to pay 3. Return target creature, they got 1 Voltron up, and draw a card. Maybe counterspell, draw 2 cards. All day long. That is a great card. And that was new. That was only in this deck, I think. That is great. Common Storm, the infamous mythic from Modern Masters 2015. X 2 red, multi-kick at 1. Deals X damage to each of them, and you can kick it a ton of times and kill off a lot of things. I've got about 15 minutes left, so I'm gonna probably cut through a few of these. Brainstorm, classic. Blatant Thievery 4, 3 blue. For each opponent gain control of target permanent that player controls. I love stealing. Love stealing a permanent. damage to each creature I don't control. So it's a one-sided board wipe, or maybe a three-sided board wipe. All I know is that's a great card. Vandal Blast, destroy target package you don't control. Again, overloaded for 4 and a red. Destroy each target artifact that I don't control. Promo Zahili's Artistry. Now our Confirmed Suspicions was in there because it was a foil. This is Zahili's Artistry, which is in here, and it's a foil. It's in here by rights, even though it is beautiful, for 2 blue. Again, we're hoping to get that for 2 blue, but choose a token that's a copy of target artifact. Sorry, create a token that's a copy of target artifact, and create a token that's a copy of target creature, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. Insanely strong card, great fun in Kaladesh Limited, and happy to have it here as well. Okay, here's the old boy, Force of Will. I'm going to talk about this card in another video, hopefully in less time than another 6 months or whatever it's been. There's a really great story behind this particular Force of Will, why I have it. Again, it's in this deck probably just a worst Confirmed Suspicions, but there are times where you'll be tapped out and someone's going to wipe the board and win the game, and this card will out of nowhere pay 1 life, exile another blue card, and counter target spell. Blue Sun Zenith, target player draws 6 cards, shuffle into your owner's library, so draw 1,000,000. Desertion or Opportunity, counter target spell. If you counter an artifact or creature, you get the spell. Again, maybe 2 blue mana. They play their big fatty. I'll have that instead, and it is a foil as well, so that's quite cool. I picked this up in Wales, in Swansea, from a little shop there, cost a few quid. I thought, yeah, I will have that. Fall of the Titans from Oath, the Gatewatch. Fine. I'll just throw it on the floor. Aetherize, return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. Insidious Will, I didn't realise I still had this in here. Not really that much into straight counter spells unless they're really old, cool Force of Wills. Foil Confirmed Suspicions, or, not even just a counter. I'll have it. Insidious Will, it does let you redirect. You may choose new targets for target spell. They direct the removal spell at Mizzix. How about you remove your own commander instead? Kind of cool. Counterflux. Scour from Existence. Maybe even no mana at all, because Mizzix can cover the cost of the whole thing. Exile target permanent. I mean, it's just a common from battle for Zendikar, but it goes perfectly in this deck. Literally 0 mana, exile target permanent. Obviously there's a bit of a setup cost involved, but I mean, wow. Okay, we've still got a few cards here. I'm gonna ditch those two. Fact or Fiction. I think this was in the deck